We know Grandma's Mirie, if you read the book, her journey began in Anguilla, and then she came to Antigua. And one of the things that she did, in Anguilla, she collected seeds. And I think we have a good metaphor there with a woman who has vision about the things she wants for the future. And so she collected seeds at the age of 3, though. And I don't know how many of us would have had that type of insight, or maybe that was just a God given innate thing for her to do. And so she bought seeds with her from Anguilla to Antigua on a boat ride and planted said seeds in Antigua when she got here. And, she saw these seeds as treasures. And when you think about that, you recognize the idea of legacy, and that probably even before she recognized that in herself, this lifelong legacy of growth. And it started with seeds. And it shows, the mindset, the resourcefulness that she came along with, and that she's imparted, and that we all have learned as we've watched her grow. Yes, she's older than us, but as you can see, she's always learning, always doing new things. She's on a constant journey of growth. And, pretty much, we are here to deal with our finances and to understand how much of these things are intertwined. And just like a seed, financial wellness starts small. And many of us perhaps think it's a heavy burden to think about, or to start to implement these things. But starting small is where it all begins. And so, with growth, time, patience, nurturing, we can, just like a seed, groom our and grow our financial tree once we nurture it and we care for it. Grandma's wisdom shows us that even small beginnings can lead to great abundance. Now, obviously, we're here, our focus is tea, because as I said, she's always learning, always growing. And so, tea making was a very natural step for her. And she grew up using local herbs, bush tea, as many of us have had. And we know this from our childhood. We're in the islands. This is something that we all have and we've all experienced. So it's one of the second most consumed beverages after water in these parts of the world, apparently. So we're right to be focusing on our tea now. And so tea basically inspired her to learn how to dry herbs and to package them into tea bags. And now she's up to over 20 flavors, each blending different herbs and making quite interesting blends. As you could see, if you sampled some of the tea and the herbs back there, the selection, I was a bit wowed. I'd never actually heard of some of these things. I've been around a while, but again, I'm learning. So I really want to know, Grandma Mirie, this connection to tea.
Good evening. When I was growing up, we had a lot of bush tea. So I grew up around old people then. And we didn't have tea and we didn't have this. You go and you pick piece of bush, you pick piece of bush, and you make your tea. And we were very, very healthy. But from the time we get tea and we get Milo, we forget about these things. At one point, I had forgotten about them too. But I met a good friend and he introduced me back to Eden. So there is where all of this started.
All right. Well, that's thank you for taking us away from the Milo and the Ovaltine and and whatever else we've replaced our helpful teas with. So it sounds like your past experience with, as you said, your old people, or your people with wisdom and knowledge. We're not calling them old people anymore. That is what led to this, and your passion to create something new and to bring something old, but actually make it new because you could tell by the different herbs these were not things that necessarily you grew up with, right?
No,
Right.
but I grew up with salsa bush, lime bush,
Mm-hmm.
and those sort of things.
Right. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I would love to know what the potential is here. I believe there's a lesson financially, but I am not the financial whiz per se. So let's turn to someone on the panel who really knows about finances. So Megan.
All right. So, as Mommy was speaking about teas and growing up with, what you call it, Lisa? Not old folks,
Yeah,
persons with
yes, this person's with knowledge and
persons
experience.
with knowledge and wisdom. And just speaking about using what you have, it made me think about, from a financial point of view, lots of times we think we need to do big things or wait until you achieve certain things before you consider yourself to be financially well. And as I listened to her, it all started way back when she was little, speaking to and listening to those who are wiser and with more knowledge. And she learned and she then took it another step. So, from a financial point of view, I would like us to consider when we look at mommy's connection with teas, how she has been able to use what she has learned, build on it, and actually make a number of tea bags. And so, within your financial journey, what I would say to you is be creative, think outside the box, look at the things around you. Not everything has to come from China or the USA. There are things here that we can probably use to help us with our financial journey. We all have different gifts. It might not be teas, but whatever it is, just take the little steps to hone those skills, learn. Mommy's such a great example. She's 90 and a half. More than a half, yeah, because she'll be 91 in 5 months. My goodness. And she's still learning. I'm afraid to mention things to her because when you mention it, she's going to try it. So Jackie Quinn said today that you need to make coffee. Just telling you. So I'm just saying, you know how to make it? Okay. Use what you have. Don't be afraid to try. That's the other thing. Don't be afraid to try. I've seen all kind of bush there that I have never seen. But don't be afraid to try something new or try what you already know and see how you can make this profitable.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I mean, that's relatable. I can definitely see the wisdom there, Megan. What I again find very interesting is the fact that you continue to garden. This is not, the whole planting and gardening, and this is another side of you. I don't know how many sides there are, but this is plenty. Yeah, yeah. I don't think we have a shape. Was that trapeo hexagon? I don't know what that would be. I can't imagine. But this particular side as well, of planting and nurturing the garden, we know that it began with you at about age 6. Is that right? Yeah, about age 6, you started with the planting and the
Yes,
gardening.
I had my own garden.
You had your garden at 6?
Yes,
Oh, wow.
and I always tell this story. I planted my vines today, and I went to reap them tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
Only to find out it doesn't work like that.
Right.
You have to wait.
So there's patience involved here then, lots of patience. So, you know, clearly you figured out tending a garden needs, the time, the care, the patience. And it sounds a lot, again, like this we can apply to our finances.
Of course.
I would say, too, my experience is that with you, this might explain. I think you might have filled in a little gap here for me. So, as a child, I was very aware. I was always in the home, and so I experienced what it was like to be in Mirie's house, and I was the sixth child, and so I know how she was able to cut and contrive. I don't know how, if you, yes, of course, everyone here should know that. And one of the things I recall was that you would purchase in bulk with your sisters or friends, and they would literally get things wholesale and split them up, right? And so to me, I'm thinking to, this is also part of probably just your whole ethos, just the way you think. And I mean, how could you speak about that? Like how you were able to sort of get through times as a mother, you're a teacher, your husband's a politician, you have the six, the plus one child hanging around a lot. How were you able to manage?
Well, I had this philosophy. When I leave home in the mornings to go to work, I'm resting from housework. And when I get home, I'm resting from schoolwork. So as far as I'm concerned, I was always resting. So that is how I live my life. Always resting. A form of work can be rest. A change of occupation can be rest. So let us try and do some more resting.
So more resting for 2025. That's the
Right.
message.
Right.
Okay, more resting. So Megan, you okay.
Well, a couple of things I want to add. Good evening, everyone. And, you know, when you said that mommy has, all these different sides, I probably look at it slightly different. She's only got one side.
Right.
She's only got one side. And the one side that she has is mommy is probably the most optimistic person you can ever meet, right? She never sees the glass as half empty. It's half full, right? And so with that sort of ethos and mindset, I think that is what has propelled her um, for her journey so far. Now, I recap that I was the eldest child, and yeah, I'm still the eldest child. Yes, definitely. Though this one here sometimes challenges me. Um, but I think looking at mom here, you could easily get the impression that she came from a privileged background and things were never hard. But I recall the days when um, dad was a university student, mommy was the only one um, working, and she had to find innovative ways of getting extra income for us to survive. And so, I mean, the very first memories that I have of mommy doing something, you know, to make ends meet was crocheting. And this was in the 60s, uh, 60s, early 70s. Crocheting, getting extra stuff, and always having this sort of stuff where I think as well what she has, and I think part of it is, you can link to being, you know, good with finance and that sort of thing, is I would like to think that mom is a dreamer, right? And that's what she lives. Forget whatever mistakes she makes today or yesterday. What propels her is the dream of what she's going to do tomorrow, right? And I think that is, for me, the one side that she has that doesn't change.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Well said. So now that you touched on a bit of the entrepreneurialism and how that started, I know again if you've read the book, some of this started in Barbados, right? So tell me about what transpired or what propelled you to be an entrepreneur in Barbados.
Well, my husband was at university, and to be honest, I tried to go to classes, but I just couldn't make it with three children, and the fourth one on the way.
Oh, wow. Yes, that might have been a little much, right?
So I decided to put books aside and use my hands. So I went to the Housecraft Center where I learned to crochet, macrame, and different skills. So when other people beating books, I beat my hands,
Right, right.
and it has paid off. When I got back from Barbados in '72, my husband had a degree. I had nothing, but I put on a show, an exhibition at Potter's School.
Wow.
Once the child touched the article, the child name went on it.
Oh, wow.
And from that, everybody flocked me. They wanted what I had. More people came to me for what I had than to my husband with a degree.
So much for that coming back with nothing, right? We're gonna just, yeah, take that off.
So, I mean, you don't have to have a degree to progress. Find your dream and follow it.
Right.
People might criticize up or people ask me, what next, what next? I say, name it, and I claim it.
Yes, I love that. I love that. Megan, clearly there must be something financial here.
I'm listening and I'm like, oh my goodness, I didn't, and this was not even rehearsed, but I'm thinking, you said you have your skills. A lot of us, well, all of us, we have some skill, and we need to find out what it is, because God has given us all gifts. And if you're going to be starting, and I encourage everybody, because when we go supermarkets, I know I'm not the only one that go, the prices are
Yes,
crazy.
the sticker shocks, the sticker shock.
It's really, really crazy. And to me, it's like it's just constantly going up. What I bought 2 months ago is not, it's a different price. But the point I'm making is we have to find ways. We can't sit back and expect that the government is going to do things for us. We have to do things for ourselves. So as I hear Mommy speak about the things that she did, Mommy didn't just sit back and complain. She could, but she didn't. And so one of the things I got from what Mommy said from a financial point of view is find what you're good at and work it. Make sure you find that side hustle, and you're going to fall down, but you get back up. The other thing, and Clement kind of spoke about it when he said that Mommy, one of the side that Mommy has is dream. I do believe that. But one of the things I would encourage us all, yes, you can dream, but you have to have your financial goals. So I don't want you to be dreaming in the clouds. It needs to be a realistic dream. It needs to be written down. You write your goals down and you make sure that they are SMART goals. So SMART, they have to be specific. So you're not just going to say, I'm going to save money. You're going to say, I'm going to save $50 a month for the next how many ever months. It has to be measurable. So you put a quantum to it. You said $50. It has to be something that it's achievable, something that you can achieve. So you just started working. It makes no sense to say, I'm going to save $10,000 a month. It's not going to happen. You probably don't even make $10,000 a month. So it has to be achievable and realistic. And then you need to put a time on it. So you're not going to say, I want to save $50. I will be saving $50 a month starting next month for the next 50 months or whatever it is. And then you write that down and then you work it. So, Mommy, I have to thank you because you really, from your life, you have really instilled in us a lot of financial knowledge.
Yeah.
That I don't think at the time, and I don't think at the time we thought that's what it was, but that's what you did.
Yes, indeed. Um, I love what you said, Megan, about one, having those goals, being very clear in your mind about it, and you're clearly never too old or too wisdom filled to embark in this, and you can never be too young. And so when you mentioned side hustles and so on, it put in mind that this is where Sienna needs to jump in. So Sienna is a young person, clearly, and she too has been very mindful of her financial wellness. So I'll let her speak about what she's done.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Sienna. I'm a young person, so speaking from the perspective of Mirie and everybody else here, I can 100% agree that saving is never too early to start. You think, next year, okay, I'm going to start saving. Next year comes around, you don't start saving. Boom, high school. Boom, college. Boom, you're an adult. Broke. Debt. It comes people like to say money comes back, but it's good to build on top of it. That's how you create generational wealth, especially if you don't come from it. So let's say you start saving $10 a week. That's You're basically saving in the span of the next 2 months, you have $70. It's better than zero. So as a young person, that can buy you, I don't know, a good meal. Yeah, so side hustles. I would say starting a side hustle, the best thing you can do in this age. Right now, you maybe have school, exams, that's about it. You're not working, you don't have an apartment, you don't have rent to pay yet, you don't have bills to pay. So try and work on a side hustle or find a small job that you can just get a bank account, or if not a bank account, use your parents' account or even under your bed and start saving some money. It's great to save money because when you need something to fall back on, you can say, I did this and I have something, I have a little cushion, a little something to fall back on, and you're not falling on concrete. So it's really great to save.
Okay, so don't fall on concrete here. Have a cushion, right?
Yeah, Lisa, the thing I wanted to add, because I know sometimes when people say, okay, um, the word side hustle is, it has a ring to it, and, it almost sounds like if a side hustle is something new, right? I remember um, as a child, I don't know if you remember this, Megan, but when mommy started to crochet, she would do hats, she would do dresses,
Plant hangers,
hangers,
doilies for
you know.
the
She
dress,
did, she did,
the dolls for the toilet paper.
and
If you're old
and
enough, you know what I'm talking about.
yeah, and she used to do ties, and she knows that'll be a bad point between me and her. But that's another story. But one of the things that she did, and this was in the early 70s, was I was a boy, two dominant sisters right after me. And if you think Megan is dominant, then wait until you meet the read. Um, but she insisted that I had to learn to crochet as well, right? And that may seem okay now when everything is, i- gender neutral, but certainly in the early 70s, that wasn't the case. No, I didn't mind so much because what she sold me on the idea was that, hey, I don't care what other um, parents let their sons do. But once you learn this skill, right, you will be able to use it to make some money. So for me, even though I hated the idea of knitting and crocheting, it was the whole idea that, okay, I can use it to make some money. And I think that going through life, that has stood with me. I've never crocheted anything else. I've never knitted um, anything else. But certainly, going through life, you sort of, I've always had the mantra that I will make extra money from the things that I do. The things that I do every day are what I'm good at, right? I can't expect to make money from things that I don't know anything about. So very early, I mean, we had cows, and we had to go and look after the cows. And there was a rule that, if it was your cow that was giving milk and we sold to the neighbors, you got the milk money. All right. And in those days, a bottle of milk was $1, right? But of every family would buy at least one bottle of milk per day. So if I got five families, that's $7 at least they're buying from me. Okay. And five families, 5 by 7, that's $35. Now, $35 in the late 70s, early 80s, that's a ton of money. Right? And so I was able to use that money. Some of it, I use for all sorts of things. I remember, Mom, the first time I went to the UK, 16. Mom challenged me, do your O levels, whatever you get, you must pass all. She was a very hard taskmaster as well, eh? You pass all, you get a trip to England. With good grades, yeah. Oh, with good grades. You just come to pass. You have to pass your O levels. And the stuff was, if you fail one, deal is off. All right? And, you know, afterwards I was like, okay, so I'm going to get to go to the UK, but Mommy hasn't promised me any spending money. Right? And she doesn't have any spending money because she's using all kind of bucks and whatever to get this money to get me to go. But I was then able to sell a bull, right? And I got $600. Right?
Oh, wow.
And of course, that was my spending money. And you went there and you go into England, but you actually learned that you spend it on yourself. I wanted to spend it on yourself, not spending it on clothes. Yeah, you buy a couple of things, but you're going on to A level, so you buy some books, you buy some key facts, and that's how you learn to invest in yourself.
Yeah, it's wonderful. That explains a lot now for you, Clement. That has filled in some gaps there for me, but but it's true. I've witnessed a lot of that in all her children. Megan, you could speak about what that was like with your all the tasks, shelling peas.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So, mommy had us working.
Oh, you could not be in this woman's house and not work. I just wanted to know,
100%.
right?
Absolutely, always something to do. And so, at a very young age, we had to shell peas. One of the things I hate doing, and I will not ever do again. Um, got paid. Got paid. So that's the good thing about it. We got paid. So when the little green worms wriggle out, and I don't like any creepy crawly. So, but we got paid, and so she taught us from early. You gotta work hard, and that's one of the things I want to, especially young people. I think a lot of times this TV and internet and this quick everything quick quick quick. I think a lot of people think that everything happens easily and quickly. And I want to tell you, you gotta do the hard. And the earlier you do the hard, the better.
Yeah.
So whether the hard is setting better financial habits, saving some money, it's going to be hard. But once you get over that, you know it's going to be better for you. So again, a good lesson learned from a young age. You have to do the work. You will get paid. It might not be something you like doing, but until you can do better, thank God I can do better because I will never share peace again. But until then, do the hard and work at what it is you want to get to.
Yeah, and that's really, if you think about that, that is something you can practice. That doesn't take any course. You don't have to attend. You have to do anything special to be able to put that in your life. I like also what you said, Clem, about doing what you already do. I mean, that's so telling because many people believe you'll have to figure something else or learn something, which is good too, right? If obviously you have a passion, there's something you're really interested in, that's wonderful. But what that says is start right where you are and start right now. And if you're looking at it that way, I think lots of us will be on a path to better financial health. Well, again, thank you so much for spending some time with us this evening. There's a quote: money comes and goes, certainly, but the habits you plant today will grow roots that last for generations. That would be the generational wealth Sienna alluded to. And if you take care of your garden, and your garden pretty much will take care of you. In this case, to have prosperity based on the herbs I'm seeing back there, take your time, pick your herbs, have patience, dry them, sit and brew them, and then we can enjoy a good cup of prosperity. And that is our wish for you for 2025. So we want to be with you and partner with you on this journey towards your financial health. And as Megan said, everyone's journey is different. Everyone's idea of what their optimal health is financially is different. But whatever that is, SFCG clearly will be here to help you maneuver and find your way on this financial health journey. So let's enjoy what we have today, and hopefully we've planted some seeds like someone taught us to do at a very early age, and to have you start thinking about what future you'd want for yourself, whether that's in 5, 10 years. I'm actually thinking about next year already, because of course we want these to be what we said, manageable, achievable. We want them to be smart goals. So maybe we even take year by year our financial health for the next 5 to 10 years, and then we share knowledge, and I think that's very important. Whatever it is, each one teach one, and that's very important too. So anything that you've learned here, anything that's resonated with you, please take it away and share it over a cup of your prosperity for 2025. So thank you so much for spending some time with us. Thank you.